Hello?
Hey, Big Cat.
One second. One moment, if you would.
Steve texted his own number wrong to me.
Well, he's fucking stupid. That's why. What do you want me to say? He's dumb.
Some poor girl who picked up and was like, "What is going on?" I was like, yeah,
It's Dan Katz from Barstool Sports.
Yeah, all right, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's fine. No, that's okay. We'll let you gloat in a moment. But you're a Mount Rushmore guy, so we're trying to figure out. We have Stevie Wonder, Helen Keller, and Ray Charles. We're trying to get Mike in the blind Mount Rushmore. See what he has to do to get there. That fourth spot, unless you can help us out, is completely open right now, right?
Yeah, I actually don't know. Like, I'm trying to think who would be.
We got Andrea Bocelli, the guy who sings that, like, he's a famous Italian singer. You know his song if you heard it.
Yeah, he did the song from Step Brothers.
Yeah.
That's how I know
yes.
it.
Well, right. The Sopranos. If you watch that, I know. I appreciate it.
I have lots of culture.
Point is though that if that's your fourth guy, if you do stuff, you could get that spot. I think.
Yeah, although Mike has like a lot of negatives going against him, doesn't he? You know, like the incest thing and everything.
Correct. but is that also fame though?
That adds to the mystique.
That's what I'm saying.
He's the most famous blind person who also fornicates with his mother.
Well, that's not.
I don't know about the Wonder dynamic. I can't speak to that, but I think that's true.
No, it isn't. Not true.
Well, what are you saying? Somebody's more famous than you does it?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I don't engage in such activities.
We'll play like that.
Fuck my mother.
Well, now the floor is yours. I just talked to your boss and mine, David Portnoy, and I happily accepted the offer to the great city of Miami. So go ahead. Look, congratulations.
Thank God. Thank God. I'm so excited for this. Every time your name came up in a meeting, I was like, yeah, I really do think. Like, they'd be like, hey, Dan, do you think Kirk would be good in Miami? I was like, I actually know he'd be good in Miami.
I think he'd be great.
He would be a star. I was texting with you a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think that it would actually be genuinely hilarious. And this might be one of those things that's very esoteric and only funny to a certain amount of people. But, hey, that's kind of like, that's what you do as a podcast, right? So,
on my little podcast. Yes, go ahead. Continue.
No, I didn't say little.
No,
that's fine.
No, that's fine. No. That's we understand. You're the big swinging dick. Continue.
I didn't say little. We need to get to the timestamps discussion in a minute.
We will. Yes, we will.
I think it would be so funny if you did an hour of Sirius every single day live from Miami, and we only did like the worst of the worst.
Product placement.
Yeah. Trying to do the tchotchkes, the Nutrisystems, and like the herbal teas.
Herschel Walker coming in.
So Sterling Sharp, I'm gonna let you go in a minute, but you're telling me right now, Century 21 is giving away a free home to some. I can't even. I think that would be funny. Do you think that'd be funny by like Wednesday though, like 45 minutes into the third show?
Yeah, it would take a little bit of time, but here's what it would also do. I think if you didn't ask any questions about the people's career either, and you just
focused on the product.
Yeah, Caleb Presley, who's a tremendously talented guy we have here. Did this a couple years ago.
But is he doing okay? I know he's fallen ill.
He had stomach surgery because I guess he has some like gas. I don't know what.
Okay, he's all right though.
He timed it perfectly, so he's out for December. But
good move. Yeah.
Anyway, Caleb interviewed T.O. I think it was about 4 years ago when we were at the Super Bowl in San Francisco and T.O. was pushing Butterfingers.
Right.
And Caleb only asked Butterfingers questions. Like, what's your first memory of having a Butterfingers? Like, so if you did that every day for an hour with, the defensive lineman from the Carolina Panthers.
It's going to be an issue.
I think it was very going
to be a test of my mental health.
But you could even do Inside Boston stuff. You could have Drew Bledsoe on and you could talk about his wine, you know?
I guess.
Yeah, you got this. So wait, when you talk to Dave, who is going with you? Just you yourself?
Kirk Seamus Minihane will be flying to Miami solo for the week. And I know, you're a big star. You'll be doing your thing. Everyone's going to be doing their stuff. It's going to be me. I'll do my dumb periscopes, and I'll do the show with Dave and try and do my podcast. It's going to be me at Chipotle every night at 5:30, having my dinner, and then shuffling up to bed at 7 o'clock.
No.
Yeah, I think that's best for everyone.
First of all, your radio show goes till 6 p.m.
Well, but my theory is Dave's going to take the first 45 minutes off, so I could probably do the last 45 minutes off because he's going to get there. He's going to get there. I was in Atlanta last year. You know this better than anybody. 3 of the days, he wasn't even there the first hour because he's doing fucking pizza reviews or taking, I am on my own on this one.
Well, you and Dave are the Spider-Man meme, just pointing at each other. You both are tremendous, like world-class narcissists. So if you just teed him up with a question and just said, "Hey, Dave, tell me about like that time that you delivered papers,"
right? That's true.
And your knuckles were red from delivering all those papers and actually printing them with your hands. And then just said, I got to go grab a drink real quick, or I got to go take a piss, and then just never come back. Yes. I think he would fill in the last 45 minutes.
Do you think it would be just spitballing ideas here? Because I like your idea about me interviewing these people. Do you think it would be equally as funny if I interviewed these celebrities like Franco Harris and I just spent 20 minutes with each guest telling them my Murchison story and just complaining to them? And I'd be like, no, you don't understand, Franco. The Globe got together with them too. I mean, it was an effort against me.
Yeah, no, and you could tie it in because everyone's got something in their past where it's like, hey, Franco, you know, I know you're a big Joe Pod guy, and we're trying to get that statue back up. You want to talk about real persecution?
Right.
So let me tell you about this guy, Bob Murchison.
Maybe I'll do that. I might do that. So
I'm excited. So you're going out to dinner with us every night too.
I'm not going out. You don't, Dan. You don't want me. I like you a lot. I actually like you a lot. You don't want me at dinner with you every night.
You're good at dinner. I've been to meals with you.
You don't want me there. You don't want me there.
Big Cat, he's an amazing conversationalist.
He's got a million stories.
No, I am no raconteur. You don't want me there.
I am going to suffocate you with my friendship. Every morning, it's like, hey, Kirk, going to Starbucks. Need anything? Hey, Kirk.
I don't think that's. I think it's going to be.
You want to go sit by the pool? Like, what do you want to do today?
You're going to be hustling around all week. I'm going to run into you one time on like a Wednesday afternoon. We'll say hi to each other, and that'll be it. And that's okay. You're a very busy guy.
No, it's actually going to, like, on Wednesday, I'm going to see you. I'm like, wait, you're here this week?
That's true. That's true. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm concerned. So, like, from my perspective, I don't know. I imagine you'll have your whole crew down there. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do my show down there. The podcast.
Yeah.
They're not bringing.
We have extra people, so you'll definitely be able to set up, and you'll be able to do it with, like I'll do it one day. Kevin will do it, so you'll be set up nicely, and I'm sure we can get. I think that this is the best part is that you actually are getting in at the right time in terms of Super Bowl trips, because in the past we all stayed at the same house, and that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have done that. That I wouldn't have. I got to draw the line in the sand somewhere. I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I could have done that.
That would have been incredible. But this year we're at a hotel. I think we rented like 80% of a hotel.
Yeah, that's what Dave was saying. Yeah.
So you'll be set up. I'm sure there'll be someone who can set up like us, the podcast in your room every morning, or you can actually. I think we rented a couple rooms that are like basically static studios.
Oh,
you'll be able to sit down and just do your whole show.
All right, so let's get to before we get some other stuff. So he's another one of these guys, and let me ask. So you have the most successful sports podcast. Erica Nardini was on the Minifan podcast the other day. I don't know if you knew that or not. She said that.
Yeah, I did. I saw that. She
compared your podcast to my podcast, and I thought kind of took a shot at me, frankly. But that's okay. Look, I don't take things personally. She said that you guys wanted to have the biggest sports podcast in the world, and you've accomplished that, and I agree, and I think that's great. But then she's like, I don't know if Kirk's really that concerned about success necessarily. I think did you hear that part, Steve, or no?
Yeah, she said you're not necessarily concerned about being the biggest podcast of all time. You just want to be yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's fine, but it seemed like a shot at me. But look, whatever, that's fine. But so you're going to be, no, go ahead.
No, finish it. Sorry.
No, but my point is, being the biggest podcast in the world, you're going to be down there in Miami, fucking, You're probably gonna do 90 interviews or 90 fucking things. I mean, that week for you is gonna be total madness.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl week is absolutely insane for us. It's definitely the hardest week of the year. But it also, we don't do as many interviews as we used to. When we were starting off, and I know you make fun of them all the time, and I agree with you a lot of times when it's like you do an interview that's basically just to, pitch someone's product and glad hand them and be like, oh, remember the time. There are interviews that we do like that kind of suck, but they also serve a purpose, because I always do think that once we get someone face to face, we can kind of break them down a little bit and move outside of that mold.
Well, you're also, but you're also aware of the joke too. I mean, it's not like
right. And we've moved outside of that a little bit, so we don't do as many interviews as we used to, mostly because what we found, like a few years ago, we made the mistake where we must have done like 20 interviews. And then when you get to the third week in February, People don't want to hear about someone who won the Super Bowl in 1992. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care about, Thurman Thomas and what he wants to talk about in March,
Yeah.
So we've stopped doing as many, and we do more of the Dan Marinos who want to, cut our throat while we're in the back of a van.
Right. But let's get to the real reason. I mean, first of all, obviously you're gloating. You got your win. You're going to get me down to Miami, and I know that you're going to have me sit at some uncomfortable dinner with a bunch of people I don't know, which is going to be absolute torture. You're going to take advantage.
Called his shot, by the way, when we were in New York.
He's going to take advantage of my anxiety and mental health. That's fine. I no problem at all. No issue at all. I could play along.
Yes. No. But those are definitely things I'm going to do, and also your anxiety and mental health will become content for the week.
You've mocked it. You've mocked it. Right. You've mocked it privately and publicly for years, and that's fine. That continues. Do you have an issue?
Put a video camera at the dinner, and then every morning we'll have a recap with an anxiety meter as it goes back and forth, like the fucking Geiger meter in Chernobyl. It's just like. Hey, Kirk, what are your biggest fears in life? Tell me that, as like taller daddy girls ask that.
I know what I was going to ask you. I got off on a weird thing a minute ago. So we have this Discord thing with listeners of our show, right? And they argue with each other and do whatever. I have now fallen into the habit of jumping in there and occasionally going at individuals who have a problem with the show. I mean, what the fuck is that about?
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Big Cat, it's basically like if you went on Reddit and argued with Pardon My Take fans, essentially what it is.
And I'm talking about, like, this guy's name was Jerry Calicand was the guy's name. And I was sitting there at Brugger's this morning drinking hot chocolate and like going back and forth with this one individual for 20 minutes.
Do you know what I've always like, and this is something that's taken time for me to get to this point, because it definitely, I used to, 5 years ago, would get very upset when people like, you stink or this sucks. At this point, I've realized that in life, everyone, like, there's half the people that want to enjoy things and half the people just want to complain about things. And the people who want to complain about it are probably enjoying it secretly. They just can't bring themselves to say it. And their enjoyment of your product is actually the fact that they have something to complain about. So you're giving them an escape by being like, every morning they can get up on the Discord and be like, this show sucks now. That gives them a little escape from whatever life they're dealing with. So you should just hop on and be like, hey, you're welcome. Now you don't have to think about like your shitty existence for a minute because you hate my show more than your life.
But the thing for me psychologically is I've always been that person. And now all of a sudden I'm not. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm not cared forever. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, everyone cares.
Well, you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. I mean, I understand it's part of the game, and I still do, but I don't know why all of a sudden individual things will trigger me. I don't get, for example, I'll just give you an example. There's a guy I like who hosts a podcast, right? Successful podcast, was a big listener of the show, and then he texted me the other day and said he doesn't listen to the show anymore. And he's this guy, what the hell's his name? What the hell's his name? He hosts a show in a van. I forget the guy's name. So, and I was like, well, fuck you then. I mean, go fuck yourself. Things like that, they hurt my feelings. It hurts me at the core. But go ahead, list another guy, and I know you're on Discord, so we can just do it publicly, who's got a list of grievances about the Kirk Minihane Show.
Are we to believe that Dan doesn't listen to the show anymore?
No, quite the opposite.
Okay,
doesn't like it. Doesn't like the show.
Oh my God.
The exact text was when Kirk said, hey, can you come on at 11 tomorrow? I said, yes. Is there anything I need to prep? I haven't been able to listen as much as I would like to in the last couple weeks.
Right.
That's how they say
no
it.
addition to not listening anymore.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
When there's I have a 5-month-old. Mm-hmm. We're in the heart of the football season. I'm not trying to blame things on you here, but I host the #1 podcast. Like, there's a lot of
throws that.
We understand. We understand.
Where they're ranked.
We understand where it's ranked. Believe me, I understand.
So when I pull up to listen to my friends Kirk and Mike and Steve shoot the shit for 3 hours, and the first 45 minutes is talking about a fucking fishing hole in Maine, I need some time spent.
See what I'm saying?
You're welcome to come with us.
See what I'm saying? I mean, what a fucking snob.
Am I to understand you're not coming fishing, Dan?
I assumed you're going to be there.
We did the I think it was called the Camden Bowl, the toboggans.
Yes, I know it very well. Yeah.
We did a video there in 2014, and I actually recently said to Kevin, John, and Dave and I said, we got to go back and do it at some point and just, get everyone back there it was right when we were early, so it was kind of we weren't really known.
Camden,
I would say,
Maine.
here's the good news: we're 5.5 or 6 hours north of that
coming up, but you know.
Oh my God.
But,
Plenty of room for it.
But so his complaint. This is more of a Steve Robinson complaint because I don't know anything about this. He wants a timestamp, Steve.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I feel and what I said is you're giving people a roadmap not to listen to our sponsors or our advertisers.
Okay.
Do you like money, Dan?
Fair. That's totally fair. Although I think you could probably work it into conversation, which would take a little bit more work from you, the producer, to do.
What do you mean work it into conversation?
Well, but if you and I know you don't listen to the podcast, Dan, but I will be conversational about these things that we're selling because I'm happy to do it. So I don't think that's a big issue at all, Steve. Now that I think about it, he might be right.
Then we can do timestamps.
Yeah.
I usually do.
My big thing is, I think what you guys do is different than everyone else. And I love listening to it, but sometimes when you pull up a 3-hour podcast, it's like Joe Rogan's kind of the same way. Sometimes Joe Rogan, he'll have someone on that I really want to listen to, and I'm like, I just don't have 3 hours, you know. So if you had timestamps, it's like, hey, here's what we're talking about today. People can pick and choose and don't have to, listen to every single piece every single day. And I think it keeps people more engaged. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I don't really know much about this business. I just have a podcast that gets 1 million listens.
It's a fair point.
Well, and by the way, I have not said once that you don't know more than I do about this business. I'm just trying to do my own thing. But I think that's
he wants to skip right to the inside Minifans. He thinks we do too many current
events.
events.
He just wants to skip to the end so he can say listen to it. You don't fucking listen to any of it.
Yeah,
fuck him. I don't know what to do. We've talked about it. That's actually, why don't we, per Dan's instruction or advice, maybe we'll try it for a week and see if it makes a difference. I don't know. What do you think? Steve seems nervous about this.
No, I'm open to anything. And obviously the guy's got a #1 podcast. Who the fuck am I to tell him that we don't want to do that? If I'm an advertiser and you're giving someone an instruction manual to zip right around all of the advertisements, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you worried about that? I mean, obviously you guys do it.
On there. Yeah, wait, don't put the ads in the time.
No, I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying if it says in the description, Big Cat joins the podcast at 2 hours and 40 minutes in, and someone just skips ahead to 2 hours and 40 minutes, they don't listen to the advertising.
People might look for Big Cat anyway.
What I don't get is like you mentioned Rogan, right? Like Rogan totally upfronts all his ads in the first 3 minutes. That I don't get. Now it's working. I mean, I have never listened to that podcast and not jumped in front through the ads.
Right. I agree. I don't really understand how it all works because I completely agree. We do it. I mean, if you listen to Pardon My Take, we have the same kind of format where it's like, when the ads are sort of coming. I think there's certain people who, and you have the most diehard fans out there, so they probably want to support you. Yeah, but I think there are certain people who will listen and use the codes because they want to support their favorite podcast.
But you're more conversational with your ads, though.
Yeah, we are. We could be better. I think your guys' show. What I love about the show is that it goes for as long as it goes.
Did you say what you loved about the show?
Yeah, we used to like when you listened.
Loved in the past tense or loved
in the past tense.
Yeah, for the first month or two.
Right.
My love is gone.
Right, I understand. Continue there, please.
If you love something, you set it free.
Thank you.
And if it was meant to be, it comes back.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
So, Jesus Christ, read some poetry one time. When you sent that tweet out saying, do people not want 3-hour shows?
Mm-hmm.
I initially was like, I was thinking about texting you right then. I was like, I like the 3-hour show element because you guys talk in a conversational manner where the conversation just goes for however long it goes.
Well, why didn't you engage with me on social media? Why didn't you engage with me on social media with a response like that?
It's not his brand. He doesn't need
really
engaging with the Minifans.
Yes,
you know?
Sure, I like you.
God damn it. All right, fine. I'll fucking do that. You guys are so needy.
And by the way, you're the one who was begging for my phone number for months. I gave it to you, and now you're burying me with these texts about my show. I mean, it's just I'm not sure how they handle it.
It's been great. I think we've had a great text relationship. It's every couple of weeks. You became a Stephen Che guy. I would never have known that. Yep. We didn't have. Yeah, you love Stephen Che now. That happened out of nowhere. Stephen Che. What was worse, Stephen Che's treading water or attempt to tread water to beat cancer, or Steve Robinson's attempt to serve a tennis?
No, it's not even close. Steve, it was fascinating to watch somebody. I said on the podcast, it's like when you drive by like those things that are whipping in the wind, like outside of like a car dealership or something. Yeah. That's what it looked like. Like his body was moving all over the place, and it didn't make any sense.
And he's a supposedly athletic guy. He played football. We watched him put his feet behind his ears.
This video of Steve in high school, like playing high school basketball, stealing a steal, 2 dribbles, and a 2-handed dunk, and he looked like an athlete.
Steve, why didn't you do underhand serve? Why didn't you just like be like, hey,
Oh,
you know
I
what?
tried the underhand serves.
He
I
tried
tried
one
the
or two
underhand
of those.
serves.
Okay,
Yeah.
I skipped through. God damn it.
He literally didn't get.
No, see the thing is we were talking about the fishing trip in Madawaska, and I just happened to mention the last time I was up there it was to play tennis in high school, and these guys took that as me saying I'm Pete Sampras.
No, you told me you would beat me. You said you beat me. You said you
I
beat
would
me.
beat you.
Yeah, I was just talking shit, and I openly acknowledged that. I never set the standards very high at all for the tennis match.
I don't know.
Oh
Who
man,
knows?
I love it.
What else?
I love it. What else is going on? What else is going on in the Kirk Minihane Show world? Are you guys mad about Greta?
No,
Not
no.
really.
That's more of a Jerry Callahan sort of. I can't. I actually don't have a problem with Trump dumping on her. I think it's kind of. Did you tweet about this? There was people was day to get outraged about Sports Illustrated or Time Magazine. You saw some tweet like that or something, right?
Yeah, it's just always so funny to me. Like,
It's an annual tradition.
And not only that, but like the Time People of the Year. First of all, we're all winners. So we won in 2006.
There you go.
I
See,
don't know if
Steve,
guys
there you go.
remember that.
Yeah, Steve mentioned that yesterday.
Gave it to you.
I mentioned
Yeah,
that I
and
hate
then-
people who mentioned that they were the Time Person of the Year in 2006.
Well, Steve, I've won the award. What do you want me to do? And then I haven't won the award?
It's true.
Add,
I mean,
add it to your Twitter bio.
That's a good point.
The fuck? And then you had the dynasty of Stalin and Hitler in the late 30s, early 40s.
That was a weird run. That was a weird run. But I have to say,
Bin Laden too, I think.
but by the definition of Time Magazine, by my definition, if that's how they do it, Trump should win every year. I mean, he is the most important, influential. It's not even close.
Yeah, I said we were saying on the rundown yesterday. It's like Trump or Baby Yoda. Like if you're talking about,
That's true. I think of Baby Yoda. That's a good point. That's a good point. I think
like
of
they
Baby
just
Yoda.
give it a Baby Yoda. Give it like a TikTok star and be like, technically by the numbers, this is the most influential person on Earth right now.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I've held off.
Good for
I
you.
think there are certain elements. You know, we have the best job in the world, but there's certain elements where you got to be like, hey, I might just try to sit this one out and age a little bit more appropriately. We have enough young people now where we don't all have to be 22 years old.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not. My daughter watches. I literally don't understand it, and it bothers me when I ask questions like to my daughter, like, "Can you show me what this?" Like, I hate that I'm getting old like that, but at least I can acknowledge it. It's weird, like I don't want to be afraid of getting old. It's like De Niro at the end of The Irishman. Like, I don't want to be afraid of getting old, but you have to acknowledge it's going on. Like, I literally don't understand TikTok at all, but it's appealing, so you have to understand that people like it, I guess.
Right. It's one of those weird zones where I'm not going to shit on it because I think it obviously is big and the numbers prove themselves, but there are these things that pop up where I'm actually kind of happy that I'm getting older because it's like I don't have to put in the energy to try to learn something totally new and try to, gain followers on a new platform. I'm just going to I guess this is how careers die. So I'm just looking at myself, like in the future here, like eventually I'm going to be the guy who's 50 years old and be like, I'm only on Twitter. I don't know what any of this other shit is. But I guess that's how we all go out, right?
Yeah, but is there any age you would have wanted to be on TikTok? I don't think you're missing much.
No, if I was 20, listen, if TikTok was around when I was 27 and we're just like trying to build Barstool, I would have already gotten fucking hit by a car on TikTok. I would have puked all over myself on TikTok. There are certain things I would have definitely done to try to get people to watch on TikTok.
I do feel, you asked earlier about the show, and when I started, I remember I asked Dave, like, what am I going to be frustrated with? And he's like, you're going to get frustrated that you're not getting promoted enough. I'm very clear about this. I am not frustrated at any lack of promotion. Mina fans are, but I feel like that's kind of life when you're in Boston and we do a show that's different than other stuff. That doesn't, I don't have an issue with that. Because you were asking what's going on in the Mina fan world. That seems to be sort of, unless you guys disagree, sort of a common theme.
There are some things that go hand in hand with that kind of frustrate you, I think.
Like
the
what?
salespeople. And
The salespeople are fucking idiots.
Yeah, but
that's-
getting ignored with promotion kind of
Right.
lumps into getting ignored with sales and all that type of shit.
But I mean, salespeople in general, like that's not a bar. That's the only thing where I find Barstool similar to the radio world is that the salespeople are fucking dummies.
Well, I would actually argue that the promotion thing is similar to the radio world and every other media company in the world. And, you know, the Minifans, I was put into that DM group after the first time I was on, and it was
You might be back in there.
Yeah, I think you just got added about 10 minutes ago.
I don't need to be back in there, but I do find it. I've told you the reference, the Danny Boy Kane reference, when he had to make an announcement that Polka Kaniak and Big Papa Kane were giving him a terrible time. Like, the Minifan world is endlessly hilarious to me for that, just because of the internet absurdity. But what they probably don't understand, I'm not saying they should, because it's something that I didn't understand until I was in this for a long enough time. Every single show on every single platform in every single company complains about promotion. I guarantee you, Mike Greenberg complains about promotion.
No doubt.
So it's one of those things that no matter what level you're at, no matter how much fame you've attained, no matter how big your show is, where you work, you are talking to someone, whether it be your boss, the person you work with, your colleagues, the producer, you're saying we don't get promoted enough. So I think that once you realize that, and everyone doesn't think they get promoted enough, you realize, guess what? That's just kind of, everyone's going to have that feeling all the time.
Yeah, but for me, if the trade-off is they're not going to promote you much, we're also going to leave you alone and do whatever you want, I'll fucking make that trade any day of the week. Any day of the week.
You've said it, and it's the truth. Like, Dave is the reason why Dave is so successful at what he does, and why he's been able to build like a bunch of people up. Is he is not super micromanaging, hands-on. He lets people be successful. He lets people go out and do their own thing. And unless I can't even think, when was the last time you guys got on like the radar? You guys haven't been on the radar, like in terms of in a bad way, in a while.
Albright, probably.
Right?
No, it's probably when Blind Mike
but
got
Albright
his face mauled.
That guy was the worst. I
agree. I also think Dave's lack of curiosity, in a weird way, is an ally as well, because he never checks in on anything. So it helps that he's so fucking, he has ADHD and he doesn't really care about stuff.
Right. It is, again, you and Dave are one and the same.
Well, I have great curiosity. I'm a reader of books, of art.
But, yeah, actually, no, you're right. You're very well read, whereas Dave is not.
Illiterate.
Books are disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think he knows how to read.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's great, though, that he lets everyone kind of do their own thing. Now, Super Bowl week, there will be the email. Be ready for this.
Uh-oh.
Erica sends out a yearly email basically being like, I've seen people just sitting around with their thumb up their ass. So,
Kirk Minihane does not.
Otherwise,
Kirk Minihane creates content at Super Bowls. That's not going to be an issue. Confrontation with the commissioner last year, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm going to be leading the charge.
Should we go deep sea fishing? Would that be a good video, me and you?
That'd be great.
I get seasick.
No, you're definitely on to something. That's a great idea.
Make it happen, Big Cat.
Great idea.
Make it happen.
You're definitely on the right track.
I think we're going to be best friends after this week.
Yeah, Monday through Wednesday, we aren't going to be available for radio. We're going to be 100 miles off. We're trying to fucking get the elusive, great, giant octopus or whatever the hell it is.
You got any questions for this guy or no?
I want to know.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
If you're involved with Rough and Rowdy, Big Cat, is Portnoy ducking me when he says I wouldn't pass whatever physical I would need to? Is he just afraid of me?
No, I think you actually truly wouldn't pass him.
Damn it!
You are blind.
There's no way to get it done.
I think you have to fight another blind person.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be as funny. I want to fight Portnoy.
How about if he was blindfolded?
Portnoy said he would fight me.
So what people don't realize about Rough and Rowdy, because it is part of Barstool and what we do, they think that we run like every single decision that's being made behind it.
Yeah. There are laws.
Yeah, we truly do have to go through the state by state laws. So it's even worse than it'd be one thing if it was just a federal law and you just know this is the rules. But you've seen it even when we went to Kentucky, there was a law that the first sign of blood, the boxing match ends.
Right, it's like state commissions.
Yeah. We didn't fucking know that, and it was just terrible, and it was we'll never go back to Kentucky. So state by state is just ridiculous. We may be able to get you to fight in West Virginia, because West Virginia is where Rough and Rowdy is kind of from, and they don't really seem to care as much. But I think Florida would be tough for the Super Bowl. Why would you want to fight?
I need more time to train anyway. Well, Dave said he wanted to fight me.
Well,
Dave yelled at me because of
you're a good guy. You're a very nice guy. Do you understand? And maybe you can articulate it better than I can or Mike can. Dave's level of vitriol for Mike. I mean, a month ago on that show, he killed him. He thinks he's disloyal. I mean, you're an old school. Like, what am I missing in this battle?
I think let me preface it by saying I've always kind of been in Mike's corner in the fact that I've told you, Mike, both privately and publicly, I think you do a really good job on this show.
That's true.
And
Thank
I'm happy that, I think you've done you've grown into it. I know Kirk gets upset when I compliment his guy.
I know you haven't. You also haven't. Ironically, haven't listened the last couple of weeks. He's been total shit, but that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's bad.
Yeah,
all right.
not good.
I think it comes back to, Mike, truly, it stems from when, I don't know how it ended, the first time it ended, where you didn't come to New York and he left you in Boston. I don't know, if it was clear how it was ending. I think what Dave saw after that, and you were just trying to make it yourself.
Right.
I don't begrudge you whatsoever, but you probably did bring up Barstool. You probably talked about Barstool.
But never in a negative light. It was always like...
I don't know about that.
But. Yes, you do.
But I think what Dave...
It was always defending Barstool when there was a controversy.
Right. I think what Dave thinks sometimes, and I don't really disagree with this sentiment, that when people leave Barstool and then they try to use Barstool to prop themselves up, that's when he gets mad.
Yeah, so essentially...
That's definitely what it is. Yeah,
so it's sort of like you're not dissimilar in that way than when one of the Minifans tries to do their own Periscope or go on. That's who you are. You're sort of the AJ of Barstool.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So he's like, this guy's trying to build something off of the fact that he was an intern for Barstool for 2
just
months.
Nothing, yeah.
Right.
And Dave's a big loyalty guy. So I think that's really what it comes down to. I think that's where
I'm on his side.
No more loyal guy than me.
Yeah. He's made mistakes since then, but that's probably Dave is also very easy to figure out. If he doesn't like you for a specific reason, that's going to be the reason forever. He's never going to.
Yeah, I think
you should just give up on trying to,
I said I would fight him.
Get him on your side.
What are you going to say, Steve?
Big Cat. So since Kirk's going to be down there for the Super Bowl, he doesn't want to bring it up with you, but he really does want to get into the game itself. Is there any way you could help him get into the game?
That's
a great question. He wants to go to the game.
Shut the fuck up.
Steve,
Shut the
Steve,
fuck
I'm
up.
so happy you asked that. Now, I unfortunately can't get us into the game, but what I do have is 2 tickets for Kirk and myself for the Fan Fest.
Even better. That's even better. That's even better. Honestly.
We're gonna run the 40. We're gonna.
Because he said it's not about the game; it's about the experience. Yeah.
Because the thing is,
exactly. We're gonna get
Erica
Nardini
Nardini
tattoos on our face, temporary tattoos. Super Bowl 54. We're gonna take pictures. It's gonna be great, Kirk.
So in the meeting that we had when we were in New York with Erica, and then again on the Minifan podcast with DEC, Erica Nardini has said one thing that she likes about Kirk Minihane. Well, multiple things, but one thing that stood out to me, she likes Kirk Minahane's periscopes. So I want to see lots of periscopes from those series of activities of Kirk Minihane, just to please the boss,
Yeah, no, we can get a lot of Periscope stuff. We can go, just Kirk going about town. I think Kirk, maybe we'll recreate some Scarface scenes, maybe that chainsaw scene in the bathroom.
They have the thing in the NFL experience where I can sort of take a picture, put my face in somebody's body, one of the famous NFL players, like Lynn Swann or something, and take a picture. I would love that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. O.J. Simpson.
I was gonna say, do they have the CTE experience where you can just go murder your whole family?
Jesus. What is this?
Damn,
you said what picture did you send you, Steve? What are you talking about?
Oh, he sent me a picture of Andrew Dice Clay posing with Billy Joel.
Oh, why'd you do that?
Because aren't you an Andrew Dice Clay guy?
I am an Andrew Dice Clay guy. Yes.
When did he become like everyone's Jewish grandmother?
He is. It's weird. He is he's also become very. Yeah, he's become very cuddly with I think what happens is you get grandfathered in. If he told put it this way, there's a young comedian today called Andrew Dice Clay who was telling the jokes he was telling. He would be canceled in 2 seconds. But for some reason, everyone's kind of embraced him, which I'm fine with because I love the guy. But you're right. He's almost like the cuddly next door neighbor now.
He already went through the PC mob. He won, kind of.
But it was also the time when it didn't really matter. I mean, because he tells the same jokes now that he told in '89.
Right.
And he can.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's oh no, he just hasn't gotten the memo that things have changed.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, and I fucking hate Billy Joel. I don't have any use for Billy Joel.
Why?
You know why? Because Billy Joel's bad songs are fucking really bad. Really bad.
I don't know.
Big Shot, My Life. I mean, these are terrible songs.
The Toe Tappers.
Terrible.
I like them.
But he's had so many good ones.
Yeah. You're a big fan of his?
I'm not a big fan. I just know that he's one of those guys that if I if I go down a rabbit hole, I'm like, damn, he's got a lot of hits.
Oh, sure.
You know, you always kind of forget.
You like Uptown Girl when you're in your car? It's on. You start. You listen to it.
What about Italian Restaurant? Why you don't like that?
It's okay. It's okay. It was good. You know what? I liked it the 7,000th time I heard it. I liked it. But
okay,
I'm
Mr. I only listen to Bruce Springsteen. What that will be another thing. Put that on the list, Steve, for things we got to do. Kirk's gonna try to make me a Bruce Springsteen.
Done. Oh, that'll take. Because you know why? Because I know guys like you. You're that happy clown all the time with a big smile on your face. But I know there's darkness under there. There's some fucking darkness there, and I'm gonna take you on. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what? I'm embracing this now. I'm going to make Dan Katz get on the verge of suicide. By the end of Super Bowl
Big Cat comes on here and says,
hold on, Steve. Steve, it's the Kirk Minihane Show. Shut the fuck up. By the end of the week, me and Dan are going to be hand in hand on a railroad track somewhere in the Florida area.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk you out of it. I'm going to say, you know what? There's life to be led, and we're going to walk away together, hand in hand. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
I like that. Forget the Super Bowl experience. Get the Kirk Minihane experience. Depression. Sadness, anxiety. I'm going to give you the whole thing.
You want to talk about real bonding? I think you guys should drive down together.
He recommended that. He texted me that. We may do that. Yeah. We're talking about maybe getting the timeshare together in Boca Raton and maybe spending a month together every year. That may happen.
Gotta get out.
Steve, what were you going to say? What unfunny thing were you going to say, Steve?
No, I was saying he comes on here and says he's going to smother you with his friendship. And you're like, I'm going to make you commit suicide.
There you go. That's the joke that Steve was going to tell. Yes, there you go. There you go. All right.
Yeah,
well,
no, I will pen the letter right before we hand in hand and be like, here are my real thoughts about trans people. I really wanted to get that out.
Well, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think it's a strange instinct. By the way, Mike is dating a trans person, a transgender person.
Not correct.
He is actually.
Nope.
He's a little bit. He's dipped his toe into that world, which is a weird side story.
We flirt back
Mike,
and forth. But
your Periscope with your mom was fantastic.
thank you very much.
Oh, you thought so?
And I mean that, like, your mom was fantastic.
Right. You masturbated to it.
You should have seen what happened after.
Yes.
All right, folks.
Yes. What's
All
going
right, this has gone on too long.
All right, goodbye. You know what? I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, I'm excited. Very excited.
All right,
See you guys.
Goodbye.